Stick World Series is saying that Scream 7 needs to come out in 2024 to keep the hype and interest going. They can't take a long break like they did with Scream 3. Fate, how
Yeah,
do you feel about that?
I agree. If you're gonna keep this party going, keep this party going. I mean, it's got to come out within like a year and a half. Like, like it, like so you got this Scream. If it's not out by like early 2025, then I think you run the risk of losing the hype. That was a big problem with Scream 4 too. Is like they didn't do a ton of marketing. I mean, they did some marketing, but they didn't do a ton of marketing. And it's like nobody had heard of Scream for like 10 years. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, here's a Scream movie. Like, I didn't even know Scream came out, and Scream's my favorite horror franchise. Like, I went to go see another movie and just saw it was playing, and I was like, what? Like, I was like, when did like I didn't hear nothing, I didn't see any like advertising, nothing, and that was a big problem. So like, by the time Scream 4 came out, nobody cared anymore, right? Like, so it's like that was the issue, and then same thing with Scream 3. Like, Scream 1 and 2 were great. They had great box office, great everything. And then they had this like, what was it? 4-year hiatus or 2-year hiatus, 2.5-year hiatus, whatever it was. And it kind of like ruined the momentum. So they got to, but I mean, there was also a million other things wrong with Scream 3, but nonetheless.
Yeah, they had a lot of production issues too,
yeah,
in all fairness.
Yeah. So I imagine this will go a little straightforward. They were able to pull out Scream 6 in like less than a year. So I am, or a little over a year. So my guess is that they'll do this, like, it'll be the same thing. It'll either be like late 2024 or like very early 2025, like January or February 2025, or it'll be like October 2024, which I wouldn't mind. And they wouldn't be competing with anything in October. Like, you have no more Halloweens. You'd have The Exorcist coming out, but I don't know how many people are going to be like, yay, like I'm going to go
over Scream. Yeah, no
over
one's going to care
like,
about. Yeah.
I don't think you'll have much competition there. And next year, like, what else is coming out? There's like the Insidious movie, but that doesn't come out in October, right? That comes out in November.
No, it comes out this year in July.
Oh, it doesn't come out this year? I thought it came out next year.
I'm pretty sure they're done with Insidious after this, which makes me kind of sad because that's just one of those, like, it's not the best horror franchise ever, but they're just very near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, they're fun.
I love them. They're fun movies. So I'm really excited for that. I think this is gonna probably be the send off for the series, but I'm excited for it come July. But yeah, no, I kind of agree with you with the fall release date. I think Scream 7 October, big horror movie hits. That would be cool. Honestly, another thing though too, and this isn't announced, but I would love another Saw film after Saw X comes out later this year. Is that too much to ask? Like, is it getting too convoluted at this point? Probably. But I want to see another. I want to see some more.
I mean, as long as they're good, like that's the thing. As long as they're good movies, like I said, I mean, Saw. I mean, it had its like, first whatever 3 movies that were like generally like, oh, these were really good, and then it had like its bad movies, and then 6 was like, oh, like here we go, like. All right, we're back in it, and then like 7 was like kind of like, okay.
7,
like some people really like 7, but it wasn't generally like, oh, that was like
okay. I have a whole rant about 7. I'm so sorry. Real quickly, I just want to go on a rant about this because we do got to end the stream. But Saw 7 is super underrated in my opinion. The traps are fucking trash. Like, they're terrible. Every single one of them has some kind of like easy way you could get out of it if you don't mutilate yourself, and nobody figures it out, and it's so frustrating. I'll give you that. Listen, that sucks about Saw 7. 100% can't argue with that. One of the best traps in the movie too is a dream, which sucks. Yeah. But the story of Saw 7 is so good and so well written. I don't know, like, it's such a shame that they fucked up the traps in that movie, in my opinion. Like, there's something that happens in Saw 6 that comes back and like gets concluded in Saw 7 that is like mind-blowing in my opinion. I fucking love it. I watched all those movies like in order recently, and I was just like blown away by how good the story is. And I've never watched them in sequential order. Like, I've just like put on a random one at times, when I was like, when I got some time, I'll watch it or whatever. Dude, Saw 7 is so underrated. I don't know, man.
Saw 7 is the 3D one too, right?
Yeah. I'm a huge, I don't know, me personally, like 6 and 7 are like my favorite Saw movies now. I can't explain it. I know it's ridiculous. The storylines are pretty crazy, but man, I fuck with it. I fuck with it big time. All right, I'm gonna shut the hell up. I know, yeah, and I know it's not the best. I don't care. I like the story. Fight me, thank you. Radioactive Cosmic Rays is actually throwing $5 in there too. Words are hard.
Thank
Saying
you so
where,
much.
thank you. Saying where do you guys see the Scream IP going after Scream 7, if there is a 7? Thoughts on a Scream movie through the POV of the Ghostface killers or in another country? Fate, what do you think about that?
So I definitely think we get a Scream 7. I think I'm pretty confident that they already know they're making Scream 7. But after Scream 7, I don't know. I mean, they could either continue this. So, like, I really think they're going to keep pumping out movies. Because one, they had to pay for the rights to Scream. Like, even after, like, let's say Scream 6 makes like 150 million, or let's say it makes 200 million. Even if they make 200 million, I still think that they might not even be in the green. Because you got to think they probably paid 50 to 100 million to use the Scream rights to like be able to make these movies and use all the imagery and do all that stuff. I don't think that was cheap. That probably cost a lot of money. So, and you got to figure they spent what, 25 million for the budget of Scream 5. So let's say they cost them 50 million, which I'm pretty sure it probably costs more. But let's say it was 50 million to use the rights to Scream. Then budget for this one will probably come out to be the same. So let's say 25. So you got another 50 million in marketing. So you need to make 100 million in profit just to break even. And that's not counting the budgets. So, Scream 5 was what? The budget for that one was 25 million, I think.
Yeah,
for that. So 25 million. So now you're at 125 million you have to make just to break even. And then this budget is what, 35 million, 40 million? So
I want to say it's 35. Whenever I'm making a video, I say 30 plus because I'm not 100%.
Yeah. So I think it was 35 if I'm not mistaken. So let's say it's because I think it was 10 million more than the last budget. So let's say 35 million. So now you need to make basically 200 million just to break even. That's not counting the theaters cut. That's not counting, all the little ins and outs and stuff. So they're probably like 250 to 300 million all in right now just to break even. And so you got to figure after Scream 6, let's say Scream 6 makes 200 million. So now they've made like 350 million. After all the costs, after all the ins and outs, I bet you they're still not in the green. So Scream 7 might be their movie where it's like, okay, this is the movie where we'll finally get into the green. And I don't see them going, okay, well, now we're in the green. Let's just stop.
Yeah.
I think very likely, especially if Scream 7 does really well. Now, if Scream 7, and say Scream 6 makes 150 million and Scream 7 makes like 80 million. Then they might go, okay, like, let's just clearly the trend's dying down. But if like Scream 6 makes like, say 150 million, 200 million, and Scream 7 does the exact same thing, I absolutely could see them like, why would we stop? Let's keep going. Right? Like, why wouldn't you want to ride that horse as long as you can? So I could see them going 8, 9, 10 with like Sam and these characters. I think at most, I think we get 4 more movies and then we get like a couple year hiatus. So I think we get through Scream 8.
Wow.
I think we at least, assuming Scream 7 does well, I could see us getting through Scream 8 because I think we'll have like the 4 Sydney films that concludes like the middle of the Gap film and then the Sam trilogy, right? Because you have like Scream 5 was like the middle Gap film, was the requel film. So I could see them going, okay, like we have the first 4 that were like the Sydney story. Then we had the 5, which was the connector film. 6 picks up and it's all about the new characters and Sam. Let's do a trilogy with that. Boom, boom, boom. There's 6, 7, and 8. So I could see them doing that. I'm not saying that they will, but it makes sense.
Me personally, I do think that Radio Silence will do a 7. Like, yes, I totally agree with you there. I think they might get somebody else to do more movies in the future, though, because we know that Radio Silence has signed on to do an Escape from New York continuation, which I think is interesting. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with constant fresh blood because like if you keep pumping out the same movies from the same person, you know, you're gonna run out of ideas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't make another Scream movie after Red Right Hand. I'm good. I did it. I had fun, but I want to do something else now. I feel like Radio Silence will probably be in the same boat if they do a 7, but I totally see them doing more movies after that because like these are not the craziest movies to write. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we could pump out another mystery every couple of years. You know what I mean? Like, hell yeah. And I'm all about it personally. I love these movies so much. I love there's so much fun. There's so much hype surrounding them. I'm down for an 8, 9, and 10 if we decide to do that. That would be a fucking dream come true if we did something like that. So you're speaking my language right now, Fate. That would be sick. But thoughts on a Scream movie through the POV of the Ghostface killers? You guys know my thoughts on that. Fate, I'll let you take this one too.
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, again, execution is everything, but if done in the right way, I wouldn't mind it. And I wouldn't mind like Ghostface abroad, like go, you know, have like Ghostface, you know, in whatever, in Germany or Europe or something, and you have it, and like they're all just like running around. Like that'd be awesome. I'd be all for that.
Dude, tropical Ghostface though, I really
Yeah.
want to see that. I
then-
know it's ridiculoly impractical, but tell me that would
Black's
be cool.
Character. Have Jack Black's character.
He plays the same character from I still know.
Exact same character.
That-
He's like, hey man, like
what are you doing here, bro? What? That's so funny, man.
I want to get rich just so I can pay Jack Black to be that character for like a week for me.
Just hanging out. He's just hanging
Like,
out.
imagine
in
if you
place.
just came over to my house and Jack Black as that character just sitting on my couch, like, "Hey man, you're here for the movie." Like,
Oh, I'd come over, dude. I'd fly over, bro. I'd do anything I
Yeah.
could if Jack Black was over there doing that shit. That's hilarious.
Jack-
Radioactive, thank you so much for the $5. We appreciate it. Thank you.